My name is Jason Young, and I am one of the arrangers. I arrange All University Sing for Baylor University. I got involved in arranging for All University Sing when I was a senior at Baylor University, and I was a music major, and I decided I didn't want to teach professionally. And I really loved writing music and doing arranging. So I had a friend who was a Sing chair, and she called me up and she asked if I could arrange their act, and I said yes. And the very first Sing act I arranged was for Sing 1992. So this is my 25th Sing coming up, and it was a Zeta Fireman act. And it was a very scary thing because I wasn't completely sure what I had gotten myself into, but I loved it. My freshman year when I came in, I actually was the student worker in the pit running the mixer in 1987. So it was kind of funny. In 87 I came in and still doing it in 2015. So one of the other things that I do for Sing is I build props for different groups who want me to build for them. I don't do a lot of it just because it takes a whole lot of time and a whole lot of work. It's just mainly for whoever asks me, but I don't really advertise that sort of thing. I've built everything from a human scale hamster wheel to a Revolutionary War cannon to a crashed airplane last year to, I built pirate treasure chests years ago. I built a 9-foot diameter functional Ferris wheel, and it's just a whole lot of fun. One of the things that I enjoy most about that is I don't build the props primarily myself. I'll have the groups come and help build props. So that can be a lot of fun. I built the jail cell for y'all a couple years ago, and that can be a lot of fun because a lot of times it's folks who have never done props and never handled tools before, and they come to the shop not knowing how to do a lot of this stuff, and by the end of it they'll leave and they'll say, I'm going to go and buy a bunch of tools from Lowe's. I've had several people call me up from Lowe's and say, okay, what tool should I buy? And they'll buy whole tool sets, and that's pretty fun. So the arrangements that I'm most, I don't know about most proud of, but that are some of the most fun things to do are the ones that are completely live. I do the track for everybody so that you can rehearse to it, but when I can just unleash the whole band, big band stuff, lots of brass, when everyone is just, the whole band is just really engaged the whole time. Because it's okay to follow the track, and that's fun, and sometimes we have to do that. But when I can just count off and it's just the entire brass section, it's a big 40s swing thing or something like that, and it feels like it's much more on the wire, things can happen, and because of that there's a lot more adrenaline in the pit. It's a lot more fun, it's less predictable, and keeping it very on the rails every night and exactly right is a challenge. It's a little bit easier than just hitting play and kind of playing along with it. That's good and that's fun, and I'm really proud of those things too, but it's fun to do things all completely live. So anytime you hear the whole brass section playing and the band is playing totally live, I think those are some of my favorites. So I've been doing Sing since 1992, and in that time I've done as of the end of last year, I've done 311 Sing acts. So it'll be 330 or so this year. Sing has changed a lot over the years. This is year 64 for the show, I think, 63, 64. And it's almost like we reach a plateau of quality, and then every few years it bumps up. And it kind of drifts a little bit, and then it bumps up and bumps up. And over the years, I think the show has gotten so much better compared to where it was in 1953 when it started, that the folks back there wouldn't even recognize it now. It constantly improves in quality. People constantly get better at knowing what makes a good act, because now we're seeing things on television like So You Think You Can Dance. So there's a common choreography culture that's being built into particularly college students right now. They're growing up watching dance. That wasn't the case a generation ago. American Idol and stuff like that, they're growing up the sing-off, so you hear a cappella and you hear vocal stuff, pentatonics, folks like that. It's becoming more popular, and because of that, I think the overall level is just increasing in quality a whole lot. We're starting earlier, we're working harder on it. It used to be that people didn't start thinking about Sing until around this time of year, homecoming. And as it is now, they open up the submission dates in April. So really, it's 10 months that we work on the show, and it's a real good, consistent 6 or 7 months that I'm writing music. And as far as an act, what makes a specifically good act? There's been every kind of act can be successful. I never judge an act based on the theme when I first hear it, because I've seen really good themes not do well, and I've seen themes that at first I thought, you're crazy. I don't say that anymore because some of the crazy themes have ended up being really good. So whatever the theme is when I first hear it, I go, okay, how are we going to do that? Nacho Man. They came out dressed as giant nacho chips. They had big nacho chips, like big V-shaped nachos, and they had big jalapenos and cheese and olives, and they sang Nacho Man. And the backdrop was a big backdrop, and it was a face. And he was smiling, and he had a fork, and he had a knife, and he was looking at all the nachos on stage, and they were dancing. It was just this stupid, crazy, ridiculous idea, and the audience loved it, and 30 years later, they're still talking about it. I rest for about a month and a half when Sing is over, because I tell people I have a full-time job, I just cram it into about 7 months of the year, and realistically that's true. In a year, there's about 2,000 hours for a full-time job. That's about the amount of time that it takes to put a show together, is about 2,000 hours. There was 522 pages of music last year. There's going to be close to 600 pages of music this year. When that's over, I generally take about a month and I do nothing. I am self-employed, and I've been self-employed my entire life. I love it. I love the schedule. One of the nice things is that I'm able to take some time off and able to do that if I want to. When I'm not doing Sing, I also do work I'll do audio editing. I've been the sound man on movies before. That's not as fun as it sounds. I've done work for companies in Nashville, done mastering work and recording, and I'll also do prop building and woodworking projects and all kinds of weird oddball stuff. This is the meat of what I do, and this is the big chunk of what I do. But in the 4 or 5 months that I'm not working as much, I'll still do projects. It's just it's a little bit lighter. My wife and I get to take a long vacation in the summer, which is really nice too. It's a good life. I like it.